Hi, lovers, welcome back. Let's quickly watch this clip and we'll come back and talk about it.
But I think that men are more intimidated by women that got their stuff together.
Why is that?
That's I think because men are used to being providers. Men are used to being depended on. So when a woman has her stuff together, it feels like, what is his purpose in her life? But there's way more purposes than just that. But to the average man, that's if a man feels like he has money, right? Because like I said earlier, women protect their body, men protect their money. So if a man feels like the only thing he has is money, and you already got that, then what is he providing?
It's funny because hearing you say that makes me understand why a specific relationship in my life did not work out. It is though, okay. Because I dated a guy who literally said to me, he was like, you're not typically my type. And I was like, well, what is your type? He was like, the girls that I have to bring up and the girls that don't have it together.
When women are in positions of power, they tend to fuck over everybody, including themselves. So when you give women the power in any relationship dynamic, what's her choice? To disrespect you and start talking to other dudes. Does that help her or the guy? No. She's gonna lose the house, she's gonna lose the kids. No one wins. You guys might think there's CEO or business-owned women. No, dude, they're being managed by some dude. They're not doing this all by themselves. There's always a guy in the picture who's helping them out. There's someone leading them. So there's no such thing as woman leading anything. When women lead shit, they lead it into the fucking ground.
Why do they keep on saying that if a woman is given power, she F's everyone up? Like, why are they projecting? We all know that's what men do. Like, who are the people that are effing up the world, if we may ask? Who are the world leaders that are messing things up and starting up wars for the sake of their bruised, tiny, fragile egos? Isn't it obviously the men? And this is something that a lot of people have talked about, and we keep hearing new takes on it because it's new cases every day. The men just would not shut up. They keep on pushing this agenda that women should not be successful, women should not be accorded power, and women cannot handle power, success. But it seems like it's the insecure men that seem to be intimidated when a woman is in a place of power, when a woman is successful, when a woman is independent and thriving. I don't know what y'all think, but kindly leave your thoughts down below in the comment section. Now let's look at some clips and we'll come back and talk about it.
If you're a woman and you are highly intelligent, you are very driven, why are so many men intimidated by that? And to answer your question, it's very simple. These men are insecure because a secure man who has high standards himself, he is very motivated, he is actually going to be very attracted to you. And this is because a secure man actually wants an ambitious woman too. This is backed up by the data. An insecure man is going to feel like he is competing with you. And that's not what you want in your life anyway. And yes, the dating pool is going to get smaller for you. You're going to have a smaller pool of men that you are selecting from, but I will say this, the quality of men is going to be much greater. The odds that you actually find a provider and protector, and this is because a highly ambitious, highly educated man, according to the data, tends to go for a woman on his same level. The whole myth of the rich man dates the beautiful woman isn't necessarily always true. It does happen. You see it in New York on Wall Street. He's dating, the beautiful young yoga instructor. However, when we look at the aggregate, it's not necessarily true.
Y'all be scared to deal with women who got their shit together for real, for real. Y'all don't be really wanting the baddies. Y'all be wanting the beggars and the weed smokers and the party every night and drink more liquor than you. You don't be really wanting them women that are established because they intimidate y'all, because you know for a fact you can't flatter them or move them or sway them with money. You have to actually come correct. You have to actually pay attention. You have to actually be who the fuck you say you are when you're dealing with these women who really got their shit together. You can't sway them with a little bit of weed. You can't sway them with your bullshit ass jewelry or that 4-year-old Benz or whatever that you're riding. You really gotta be the man that you say that you are, because they're not worried about your money. They want you to really stand on business. They want you to pay attention to detail. You have to know how to fuck them properly because they're not dealing with no bullshit. Their tolerance is low. When a woman doesn't need you for money, when a woman doesn't need you to provide her lifestyle, she expects for you to provide all of the things that are free. Then once she realizes that you cannot provide those things, you become expendable because her life doesn't change whether you're in it or whether you're out of it. That's why y'all don't really be liking baddies like y'all claim. You like a chick to look good with no brain, no drive, and no money. But when you get the total package, you don't even know how to unwrap the motherfucker.
I used to not believe women when they would say that men are intimidated by their education or how sophisticated they are, the things that they like to do, their hobbies. And I was like, nah, there's no way. And I think it's because of the position that I'm in. Then I realized men are actually insecure about women having passport stamps, reading books, exercising, being active. And for me, it's just, I do all those things. So it's so far removed from me. But I realized like, men are jealous of the fact that I do that, even though they have the opportunity to do the same exact things. And man, ladies, I feel bad for y'all because it's like majority of the guys in the world, they don't read, they don't exercise, they don't develop themselves, they're not self-improving, they're not listening to podcasts and trying to become a better person. So yeah, the dating market really might be scarce for sophisticated women. Wow.
Well, I'm glad it's the men admitting to this because, you know, if it was a woman saying this, it would look like she's just trying to support her gender or, you know, they'd say it's a woman saying it. But yeah, these are men actually acknowledging this fact. It's a thing that most men do not actually have any value outside of their wealth, their money. For a lot of men, that's the only thing that they can brag about. That's the only thing that makes them feel like they are important or they have some value. And I'm not saying that money is not important, but like, yeah, money is important, but aside money, what else? What next? The personality is equally important. And here's the thing. If a man notices that he can actually not impress a woman with his money, because most of them depend on their money to get women, to impress women. Now, if they find out that a woman is looking for more aside his money, aside what he can provide, that's when their egos become threatened because they have nothing else to offer. But some of them, you cannot even have a proper conversation with them. They don't read. They don't have a life outside of the lavish lifestyle that they try to portray. There's no depth to them. There's no depth to their personalities. A lot of them have not built personalities. And that's why these are the kinds of men that would be insecure when a woman is asking for more than money. That is why they would be threatened by an independent, strong, powerful woman. Most of them have nothing to offer. And this is why a lot of them would go for younger women, younger girls that they can impress. And this is why a lot of women are opting out of dating. This is why a lot of women are choosing to be single because nobody is willing to downplay their success just to make a man feel comfortable. Like, what's the point?
A lot of men measure our value based on money alone. And what that does is that it causes us to feel a bit insecure when we run into a woman who actually makes a lot of money. Right, because we're so consumed and so, aware of how people perceive us. If we're not making enough money to be able to finance the whole situation from a comfortable lifestyle and even make more money than our woman. If we're not able to do those things, then we look at ourselves in the mirror as a man and we see less than. And that right there bleeds into the relationship. So you may have a woman who makes more than you. And because she makes more than you and because you see yourself as my true worth is measured by the money that I bring into this house, you can never be what it is that woman needs for you because that type of woman doesn't need money. She just needs presence. She needs guidance. She needs a firm rock to be able to lean on from time to time. And these are, attributes that a lot of men don't really prioritize.
Men ain't intimidated by strong women. No. You may not be, but quit thinking that you represent all men. You don't date men. You don't understand how a man can feel in a relationship with a woman that's outperforming him. Yes, he is okay with this woman out excelling him when it comes to raising the children because she's a woman, she should be. But what if she's out excelling him when it comes to her career, her direction, her ability to think? You don't think that some insecure men that will be repelling for him? And you quickly dismiss a woman's experience. It's your attitude because you want her to still be the villain. Some feel small when they're in a relationship with a woman that stands tall. Feel weak when they're in a relationship where a woman is strong. And for y'all to get up here and say, no, it's your attitude. That woman can be the most docile woman, the most mild-mannered, feminine woman, but best believe if she's assertive, she's a leader in her own right, she brings more bacon to the household, she ain't gotta say shit because that man's insecurities, those demons will speak to him.
I'm just gonna be straight up, like, men do not like strong women. Strong, independent women, man, they do not like those type of women. They can't stand them because they can't control them. They can't make them do what they want. You feel me? Like, those type of women are not going to always, depend on you. Probably never going to depend on you. Not going to, feed into your ego or make you look like something that you're not. They're really going to tell you about yourself. Of course, if you're dating a woman that's immature and young, of course you can control her. You can do whatever you want with her. It's like just having strings attached to her. So you can't do that with an independent woman. And that's what a lot of niggas hate. They hate that type of shit where they can't control that woman. And I feel like with love, it shouldn't be like that. Why do you have to feel like you're a man because you can control a woman, man? That's not player at all.
Have you noticed the only people that have a problem with your standards are always the people that can't meet them? Your standards too much. You too high maintenance. It's the people you didn't want in the first place. Quit allowing the people you don't want to make you think about lowering your standards and settling. Because you'll start to settle. And when you settle, that's when the suffering starts. The men that can meet your standards ain't complaining about the fact that you got them. One man that is confident, self-assured, one man that is an effective leader, that has his money on right, his heart is healed, is complaining that you asking for a man to come to you healed. That you want a man that's financially stable. What man that can be faithful is mad that you're requiring that a man is faithful and self-disciplined? Y'all keep listening to these that can't meet your standards, and you are thinking about settling them for men that ultimately is only gonna break your heart and waste your time.
Does that mean that men are insecure and sort of emasculated by a strong, successful woman?
Sure. Yeah, well, but there's reason for that. Like, it's not weakness on the part of men, exactly. It's the desire of the woman to find someone who brings a benefit to the relationship. Okay, so if the woman is like full of ability, well, then her standards for a guy who's going to be helpful get very high. And that's hard on her because it decreases the pool of available candidates radically. So like there's a negative relationship between IQ and women and the probability of being married. So it's harsh. Now, are men intimidated? Well, yes, obviously. Are men intimidated by beautiful women? Well, you can answer that, especially if you're young. Why? The probability that any given beautiful woman is going to reject you when you're a young man is like, it's basically 100%. Now, it's not exactly 100%, and there are exceptions, but the default response is rejection.
I think the patriarchy and society has taught men a very, very wrong definition of masculinity. And this is why most men see masculinity as having control over a woman, controlling a woman, being in charge of a woman's life. If you're able to tell a woman what to do and she does it without questioning you. If you're able to exert authority over a woman, then you're being a man. You're a masculine man. You see, over time, this affects them because what happens when you don't have the resources to control the woman? What happens if she has more money than you? And that cancels out. Automatically, you become jealous and you feel like you're losing your masculinity to this woman. Because in your head, you're supposed to hold all the power. You're supposed to hold all the resources. And she's supposed to bend to you. She's supposed to answer to you at all times. This is why they cannot be comfortable when that dynamic swaps. It's usually the men that see relationship as control, being in control and being in charge all the time, that seem to be intimidated when their woman becomes more successful than them.
When I was 24 years old and I was in college getting my first degree, I knew that I was going to be inching closer to having more financial freedom and having a career and like really making more money. And I knew that simultaneously I was going to be taking 10 steps back from being able to be in a romantic relationship with a man. I actually had got insight from this because I would get Brazilian waxes, and the place that I went to get the waxes, it was a local place and a woman owned it, and the woman that owned it would do my Brazilian waxes. Beautiful woman. Okay, 40 years old, I'd say about 5'7", white woman, hair down her back, crazy fucking physique. Like, she was always in the gym. She looked good, okay? Body was T, and she owned the place, you know? And it was a whole spa that she owned. So you already know. Skin was looking good, body looking good, money long. She had been married and she had gotten a divorce, and she had been dating around for a little bit, and while she was waxing me, because you know, waxing time is usually tea time between women, she pretty much had expressed to me how she would be dating on the apps, and she had said that she was having a very, very hard time finding someone. And I could not wrap my head around this, because just by me looking at her, I'm like, you're beautiful, you're successful, you're well-spoken. She had an older daughter who was on her way to college, and she only had one daughter, only one child. So it wasn't like she was going to be a burden with children if a man were to come into her life. So I was just so confused as to how a woman that was just so well-rounded like her would be having a hard time dating. And she had told me that whenever, you know, men would, you know, she would tell men about like what she was all about. She said that the number one thing that most men would tell her was that there's nothing that I can do for you. You have too much going on. There is nothing that I can do for you. And that always stuck with me. That always stuck with me. And there is a deeper layer to that. Men want to feel useful, okay? But men want to feel useful at the ability of which they feel like being used. That's important, okay? Men want to feel useful doing the least amount of things. So that's the reason why they don't want someone very successful or someone beautiful, because you've done everything. You've done everything on your own. There's not much that they're going to be able to offer you when you're successful and you're beautiful that is going to make a man feel as though he is of use. And this is the reason why we live in a patriarchy now, because men were very jealous of the fact that they were not useful in any way.
Like you heard from the story, I've heard a lot of cases like this where a woman just became successful and her partner unalived her or became abusive. It goes a long way to show us that the jealousy of men, it can get wild. It can get really dangerous. An insecure man can unalive you as a woman. An insecure man is not a man you should be around. I've come to realize that most men have fragile egos. Most men are ruled by their egos. And, you know, I have this thing about me where I know how to support them, because I ask a lot of questions when it comes to conversations with men. And I watch people a lot. If I notice any slight uncomfortability about you around my success or what my achievement, and you seem to have a problem with that, you can't celebrate me in my good times, in my success, from there I just know what you're capable of doing, and I stay far as possible. So as ladies, we need to be watchful with these men. Like, if you see a man that is already insecure and cannot stand your success, cannot stand that you're intelligent, cannot stand that you know stuff, that you're educated, and does not seem to have a good dose of self-esteem, that kind of man may just be one of these men we're talking about. Men that talk down on successful women, that is an insecure man. That like, you should be warned of that kind of man. When a man feels intimidated by a powerful woman and feels the need to humble a woman and put her in her place, like they say, that's an insecure man. And that's a man you should be running away from. If a man is controlling, he doesn't even need to be excessively controlling for you to run. That's your cue. A secure man would not feel the need to control you as a woman. A relationship is not a do or die affair. It's two people coming into a partnership and deciding to do life together. It's not an avenue for another person to exert control and intimidate the other person and dominate the other person. No. I've seen men that their wives are successful, more successful than they are, and they don't blink an eye. They are very comfortable and secure being there for their wives, and they are not intimidated by those women's success. They still cheer on their wives, are supportive and very protective of their wives, and be a good husband and a good partner to them. So that's the kind of man you need, not a man that would want to suppress you, a man that feels insecure when a woman is successful. Don't forget to leave your thoughts and your comments down below in the comment section, because we have come to the end of this video. And if you found this video educating or insightful, kindly like and share to anyone you think might be interested in watching. I remain your girl Joy. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Have a blessed day. From me, it's bye.